Hi everyone, Tammy here from SMJ Media Group. We are here today at the Logging Lounge in Camberley and I have the lovely Hayley here. How are you, Hayley?
Good, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming in. And as you can see, we have a beautiful crown in front of us.
Yes.
Because Hayley not only is the Miss Great Britain finalist, but a few weeks ago, Hayley won
Miss Great Britain Surrey. So,
Well done.
yeah, which was really exciting given it was my first foray into pageantry. So at the grand old age of 44, was pulled into this amazing world and is now completely addicted.
So what did you have to do for that? Just because I know that we talked about it briefly in another interview about there's a bit of a misconception behind all these pageantries, but can you give us an idea of how it works?
Absolutely. So there's a whole application process, and then the lovely Kirsty Fletcher, who's our regional director for both Surrey and London, goes through all of those applications, and it's a written application, so you have to kind of give your story and context and background and what you're passionate about and what you're interested in supporting and all of that good stuff. And then if you're lucky enough to make it through that screening process, you're invited to compete as a finalist. And through that process, there are different categories that you compete in, and lots of different side awards, and then the overall award. So on the day, you are competing in an interview round, a swimwear round, a little black dress round, and an evening gown round. And then on top of that, pre the competition, you're competing from a charity perspective. So you're raising money for either your individual charities or the nominated charity for Miss Great Britain. So
What was your charity?
Cancer Research UK, which is the
Amazing.
Miss Great Britain one. So across the finalists for Ms and Miss, we've raised over £17,000 through this process. So
In such a short time as well, wasn't it?
Yeah. So super proud of all the women and the incredible stuff that they've done.
Such an amazing achievement.
Yeah, and it was just a real opportunity for all the women to get out of their comfort zones and do stuff. I mean, there are two things that I hate in life: running and getting dirty. Like literally my worst nightmare doing both of those things. So obviously you have to go and do the Tough Mudder. And
I was going to say I did Spartan last year and I quite enjoyed it. I loved the getting muddy.
so I'm not a fan, but I did actually enjoy it on the day, and it was horrific rain. I mean, I've never known conditions like it. And when you're like frozen, that's making me go all goosebumpy, frozen to the core, and it's like I'm just going to throw myself in the biggest puddle of mud straight off the bat, go head to toe, and just embrace it.
You've got to on that. There's no, definitely.
So it was good fun. On the lead up to it, obviously, people just think you're walking, and how difficult is walking? But it's not. It's intense. My husband every night was joking. He's like, "Oh my God, I had no idea that walking was so difficult and posing was so difficult and all of these things." And you put your body in
because you're judged on it, aren't you? And there are specific ways you've got to do certain things because otherwise you'll be knocked on the judging.
Yeah,
it's the same as like the bodybuilding competitions.
There's all these like little nuances. So. The reason I managed to get involved in the pageant was I run an evening gown and prom dress business in Camberley. So I was approached by Kirsty to see if I would be interested in being the gown sponsor for the Miss age category. So what that involves is being supporting all the girls in providing them an evening gown for the event. And I was like, I don't know how I feel about pageantry. I was a HR director. I'm not really sure it aligns with my values. And when I met
Kirsty, you up to see it's more than you realise.
Oh my God, I've spent my entire corporate career trying to raise the profile of women and support females in leadership and girls in STEM and all of these things. And when you're in a corporate role, sometimes that can feel a little bit incongruous. You can go from running a inclusive leadership workshop with a bunch of directors to then going to exit a senior female leader because she dared complain about how she was treated. And so what we see on the outside of these companies versus how they behave on the inside can be very, very different. And I always really struggled with that. And the world of pageantry is like exactly what it says on the tin. It is properly women supporting women, getting behind their charities, getting behind their businesses. Kirsty asking me to get involved as a fellow female entrepreneur. Our headline sponsor was another female-led business. And it just gives people that profile and platform to accelerate the performance of their business. And she said to me at the time, "You must do Miss." No, I'm not sure about that. But as soon as I started to meet all the Miss girls as they were coming to get their dresses, I was so blown away and so inspired. And I realised that the thing that was holding me back was my own confidence. And I've never lacked that in life. And, I think when we hit our mid-40s and, our confidence starts waning and, our beautiful hormones start doing traumatic things to us.
Yes, I mean, I know I'm in my early 40s, but it's happening, people. It's happening.
It's not enjoyable. So I definitely started to feel that kind of imposter syndrome creeping in, that anxiety that I'd never had in my life. And I realised that now was the time I needed to reinvest in myself and kind of rediscover myself. And that's what pageantry has enabled me to do. So having that sense of focus and the ability to say, you know what, I'm not going to go and do the washing for my 4 teenage girls right now. I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to go and do some walking practice, or I'm going to go and spend some time with my coach. You know, I'm going to go and do these things for me. Has enabled me to be a better mum, a better wife, a better business leader, because it's so easy to get sucked into that rhythm of, I've got to clean the microwave, I've got to walk dogs.
So easy.
And if it's amazing what happens when you don't do it.
Yeah.
Other people have to step in. They have to step up. So actually, I think I've done quite a lot to help my 4 girls
become more independent themselves and learn to do more themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. My 18-year-old goes off to uni this year. She can cook endless numbers of meals now because she's like, what are we having for dinner? I'm like, I don't know. What are we having for dinner? I'm going out. And so, so it's been a real shift in dynamic in our family, and they couldn't be prouder. And I couldn't be prouder. I think, I've lost 5.5 stone.
It's unbelievable. Well done.
It's amazing. And I feel great. And I feel like my 22-year-old self, not my 44-year-old self now, which is all thanks to pageantry.
Oh, that's fantastic. You have got a really nice, almost like a family unit there, haven't you?
Yes, absolutely. I think it's allowed me to be a bit more introspective about my business. So the evening gown and prom dress business that I run has, supported over 1,000 girls locally.
And what's it called?
Bonvivant Dress.
Bonvivant Dress. I love that word. It's just
wow. I mean, there's a story to the word. So it's the name of my favourite bar in the Bahamas, where I was cocktail in hand when we decided that I was going to do it. And it means a person who likes the nice things in life. And so it worked for the name of the bar and it worked for the name of the business.
Lovely.
But my eldest of 4 girls, when she had the prom experience, it was not a pleasant experience. So these shops can be very intimidating, very overwhelming. She's 5'11", white, cisgendered, heterosexual, able-bodied, neurotypical, like the most privileged part of society. And if she stood there and just felt not good enough and cried her way through every single appointment, I was like, this is not how the world should be. So I have prided myself on the fact that over the last nearly 2 full years, I've dressed over 1,000 young girls, and every single one of them has left after an hour and a half of coaching, essentially, with me, to how to feel good, how to feel beautiful, how to stand for their photos, how to walk confidently in their high heels. And not made to stand in the changing rooms crying because they felt like crap.
I've got another 11 years, maybe just under, for my daughter, but hopefully your shop will still be open
absolutely, then. And just taking that business model into the pageantry world, it made me realise that only an hour and a half with these girls isn't enough. So although they walk out, 10 foot taller and feeling much more confident, actually one of the things that girls really struggle with in this day and age is just confidence. Confidence to be themselves, be authentic. That kind of constant judgment that they live in has meant that I have decided to now take my business in an additional direction of the confidence coaching. So hence the launch of my platform, Confidence Crowd. So that isn't just for the girls, it's also for women. I'm supporting fellow contestants, and they're running other pageant systems. So running masterclasses on confidence, all that good stuff. So
well, fantastic. And it's great that you're really, all of you really are giving back.
Yeah.
I love that. I really do. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and good luck in October.
Yay.
And as I said before, on another interview, I'd like to have you all back, definitely, to hear more about how things are going.
With our national crowns.
Yes, with your national crowns.
Manifest it. Excellent. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dee Shepherd from SMJ Media Group. If you like what we do, and if you enjoyed what you heard today, then please do continue to support us. Support us in our conversations, in our events, in our communication, and how we publish and how we promote all local businesses. So, how do you do that? Well, you can buy me a coffee. Where? buymeacoffee.com/SMJ Media Group.